Yeah.
They all say
so good. His movies were so goddamn good. You know, he used to do like complex mathematics in his spare time.
He did?
Yeah, for fun.
Well, I don't understand what complex mathematics is, but one time I was in an elevator with Norm Macdonald, and we're in the elevator with these guys, because Norm Macdonald in an elevator is very, he will literally say the worst thing you can say about somebody and then leave, and you're left there with all the people. That's his thing, one of his things. But there's two guys who were talking about some complex mathematic thing. This is in the late 90s at 30 Rock. And they're saying this, I didn't even understand what language it was. It was a really deep mathematic thing. And then Norm Macdonald, who had never brought up math or anything like that to me in his life, goes, yeah, and starts speaking to them in this, what sounded like tongues. And they're like, oh, but, and they start speaking the binary, and he goes, and he starts speaking this mathematic talk, and then they leave. And then he goes to me like, yeah, those guys are nerds or something like that. And I was like, what? How do you know that? How did you know what they were talking about?
How did he know?
He's like, oh,
He's a nerd too. Secret.
He knows something deep, like he knows these things sometimes.
He's a very smart guy.
Really smart.
Yeah.
One of those guys that just, he'll just pretend not to know something. They'll be like, that's like, and then you're like, what? Anybody walks in the room, he knows what they're talking about,
Yeah, he's a guy that really should have had a podcast a long fucking time ago, and I know he's doing something now. He sent me a text message the other day that he's starting to do a podcast now. Hey Joe,
I'm doing a podcast.
Doing that thing we talked about. He should have done a lot, because he had that show on Netflix, but they muzzled him when he went on the Howard Stern show.
Right.
And he was saying something, and he didn't want to say retarded, so he said, you'd have to have Down syndrome to believe that, because he thought that'd be a better thing to say.
But here's the thing about Norm. I'm still not sure if he thought that would be a better thing to say.
Right, you never know.
Because he's so smart. He might have been doing it as a double troll.
Yeah.
No, Norm is capable of the double troll. It's like, I don't want to say retarded. Down syndrome.
The double troll, exactly.
Yes, he's the master of that stuff.
I randomly wound up sitting next to him on planes twice. On two different occasions, just like I go, Norm, like out of nowhere, and he's sitting next to me. And one time, we're sitting there, we're talking, and we're having a good old time. And then he's talking about, I quit smoking. He's telling me how he quit smoking and finally quit smoking. And he's telling me all these things. And then when he lands, he literally like he can't stop himself, runs into the airport store and buys cigarettes. And he's lighting it as he's leaving. I go, I thought you quit. He goes, I did. But all that talking about smoking makes me want one. And he's like, before he even got out the door, he's lighting the cigarette. He just couldn't stop himself.
But I like that he goes, all that talking. He's the one talking about it. All that talking. He always puts it on you. That's what's great about it.
But
he's like, this guy talks about smoking. He got me back smoking.
But it was so crazy because I was like, that's great, Norm. It's so great you quit. And he's like, fuck, I want a cigarette.
No, he always do like, I don't drink, I quit drinking. And it was like, oh, really? Did you drink a lot? Yeah. I quit. I finally had to quit, It's hard, but I did it. And they're like, oh. He goes, yeah, because I got fucking wasted last night. And I said, I'm never going to drink again. I was drunk. And people are like, wait, I thought you quit. Yeah, I quit. That's what I'm saying. He's always...
Last night?
Yeah. It's like an elaborate, Abbott and Costello routine.
Yes, exactly. Well, the gambling, too. He fucking loves gambling.
Yeah.
Loves it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But that's a thing. A lot of these great comics are, really impulsive.
Yeah.
It's something about, the ability to say some of the crazy shit that he says.
Yeah.
You have to have this hot wire.
Yeah.
It's just you just want to touch it. Ah!
Yep. Oh, no, he's one for the books.
Yeah.